Hello, I'm back again. Michelle Testimony. I just want to ask a question. How many of you is submissive to your partner or submissive to your husband, wife, or whatever you have? For me, I have a problem with being submissive. I am a very hard-headed person. It's just, it's just, being submissive ain't for me. I'm sorry. Mm-mm. Maybe to me, it's got to be 50-50. I'm sorry. But just me being submissive all the time, all day and every day, no. So I would like to share a clip with you guys and tell me what you think. I hope y'all can hear it.
Submissive mentality, and I'm not talking about sexually. Okay, let me just clear it up for those of y'all who are watching, who are thinking, oh, this is a conversation about sex. It is not a conversation about sex. This is a conversation about the idea of power and control as a form of um, sexual expression, like sexual gender expression, right? So I'm curious about having this conversation, and I want to know what you all think. When you think about submitting to your partner, why would you do that, and what does that mean to you? Very, very curious to hear your thoughts on this. And so I'm going to wait for a minute. I'm going to share this out. Give me a second to share this out. But like I said, I'm just kind of curious to know what your thoughts are. I'm going to call you, Kai, because I saw some things today. So yeah, I'm curious, like I said, to know why is this so important to you? So I'm going to tell you the line that triggered this conversation for me. So what I saw is a conversation that said, when a woman is treated right, submission comes naturally. When a woman is treated right, submission comes naturally. And again, I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on this. What does this mean to you? Is this true or false? If you treat a woman right, will she submit to you naturally? Has that been your experience? One, and two, why is the submission so necessary to you? Why do you need her to submit to you? Curious, I want to hear your thoughts. Really, honestly, this is a conversation, and I would love to hear other folks' feelings about this because we've had several conversations in our private community about BDSM culture, people who really need someone, people who really need to be in a relationship with somebody who submits. So I'm curious to know, what does the submission look like to you in your relationship? I want to hear your thoughts on this. And do you feel like if someone treats you well, what does that mean? So a lot of people are in relationships with people who treat them very well, and there's no need for submission. So again, I'm just curious to hear, for those of you, if this is really important to you, this is a really important conversation, especially because I see it going around. I've seen it going around in the heterosexual groups, and I don't understand why it's going around in the lesbian groups. So I'm just curious to hear your thoughts and why this is important to you. Again, I'd love to know. Let me go ahead and see what some of the comments are so far. Hey, Tony. Tiffany says, I like someone that's dominant. I think it's true because they trust you to do that. So tell me, what does that person being dominant, what does that look like? Hey, Wendy. Hey, Africa. Hey, Cynthia. What does someone being dominant looks like? I mean, I'm curious because I want to know. Because for me, there are some things that I find very attractive about a woman who's dominant. Sexually dominant, maybe personality-wise. When I think of someone who's dominant, I think of someone who knows what she wants and goes after it, and that's very attractive to me. Someone who's decisive, because I have a tendency to be, for me personally, I have a tendency to try to overthink everything, and I like someone who's just going to make a decision and go with the flow, right? But again, where does the submission part come in? I'm very curious. I want to hear your thoughts. Please, somebody answer these questions so that I can hear more folks' opinion about this. What does this mean to you? And the thing I'm curious about too is I find it very interesting because I honestly don't know of a lot of relationships where the feminine woman is dominant and the more masculine woman is submissive. I mean, there are definitely instances where someone is more aggressive, but I'm curious. I really want to know. Hey, Abiola, Alexi says I'm submissive in bed only. So, like, again, like I said, it's very interesting to hear. I think what I'm hearing people say, honestly, is I think a lot of folks are really just looking for, they're looking for excuses to control. And again, I know I've had this conversation a couple of times, but I'm just like really curious. What is this necessity that we have that somebody has to be controlled in order for the relationship to be for both people to be happy? Why can't you be in a relationship with someone where you are both equals, you both respect each other, you both take care of each other, and there isn't this idea that because I am masculine or aggressive that I need to be submitted to? And what does a submission mean? I'm getting some answers here, so let me just go ahead and see what y'all thinking. So Kiki says, subbing to me is when I fall back and let you call the shots, regardless if it's mental, sexual, financial, etc., regardless of gender. It has zero to do with someone just treating me right. It's more so about me trusting you, being comfortable, knowing you can call the shot on whatever it is without me having to question said call or decision. I'm a very independent person, and always having to call shots, so someone stepping up in a way so I can fall back is key for me, but it is not required 24/7. Kiki, thank you so much for sharing that. You know, I appreciate you saying that. I've heard women say this before, that, you know, they're very independent. Like, I know a lot of Black women, we're very independent. We got a lot of shit going on. You know, we have we have a lot of things that we have to take care of. We're always taking care of somebody somewhere, and that's what we do all the time. And so it can be kind of nice to know that there is someone there that you can trust. Like, you can depend on her to make wise decisions. I don't look at that as being submissive. You know, this is someone who I trust. Is submissive the same thing as I trust you? I feel like, so let me just go ahead and get a couple more comments in, and then I'm going to share my thoughts. Hey, Peachy. Hey, Niece. Niece says assertive is good. Too submissive or too aggressive is a turn off to me. Tiffany, like what Kiki said, I'm going to go ahead and read your comment in a little bit. So Alexi says, because they don't know how to be themselves. In a relationship, you are equals, and what you bring should be an enhancement to the both of you. So Alexi, you know me and you are right here, right, girl? So that's the part that I find so interesting, because I really feel like people who need their partners to submit to them, and it's not even like in a lot of ways, I feel like it's not even really about falling back and trusting someone to take care of things. I feel like that's just being an adult. If we're in a relationship, you and me, and we make certain agreements. You say, we're gonna pay this bill, you're gonna pay your half, you're gonna pay your third, whatever you agreed to pay for. This is part of being an adult. But I feel like there are a lot of women who are low key. They have low self-esteem, and I'm sorry to say this, but it's true. Some folks have low self-esteem, and they need to control someone so that they can feel better about themselves. It's not always the case, but it is sometimes the case, right? Whenever I hear someone says, I need my woman to submit to me, it makes me really concerned, right? You need that submission. No, what you need in any relationship is we both are contributing. We both have equal say. I trust you, you trust me. If I say, babe, I really think we should make this financial investment, I did the research on this investment, on this company. I think we should go all in. I think this would be a great opportunity for us. Then you trust me. Just like if I say, and you trust me to do that because I've proven that, because I've been consistently a certain way. It has nothing to do with, because you did my hair or because you took me out to dinner, that means I must now live my life exactly the way that you dictate. A lot of times to me, the submission idea to me is a way of covering up the fact that you're really trying to dictate, how I as an adult should live. And it's like, well, you're not my parent. You know what I'm saying? You're not my parent. We are partners. We have to have some say. So like I said, if I look at submission in the way that most people think about it, it's normally hey Mimi, normally folks think about submission as, if I pay the bills, then I get to decide how everything goes. And I don't care. For me, I don't care if I stay home, and that's my role at home, is I stay home and I don't bring any financial, there's no financial contribution on my part. There is a contribution that I bring to the household. That doesn't mean that you get to make all the decisions because you pay the bills or because you're masculine. No, we are both equal partners. And so we have equal partners. So let me grab a couple more comments. Wendy says we should both be submissive to each other. And Lisa says submission. I don't get it. Outside of a Christian heteronormative, I think that people are operating in their strengths. I agree with the control. Some people are just controlling. And that's kind of where I am with that. I really feel like, folks are really, folks are really looking at submission as a reason that they can control someone. Okay, they're not really looking at submission from a perspective of, I respect you as much as you respect me. Why does one person, how come only one person get to be submissive? Most of the time, if you look at it, the submission conversation is being led by masculine women. I very rarely hear feminine women say, I'm looking for my masculine partner to be submissive to me, or I'm looking for my feminine partner to be submissive to me. And that's what concerns me, is that sometimes we take away some of the worst parts of heteronormative culture and decide to apply it to our lives. And so you come into conversations, you come into relationships with people, and there's a lot of misunderstanding and stress. So Wendy says, on the other hand, some femmes want the MOC to be in control. Femmes like the feeling of submission, so it can also mean that the femme has some issues as well for having the need to submit. Look, I'm not judging anybody. I feel like if that's what you want in your life, great. I personally find women who take control very attractive, but I'm also a woman who takes control. Like, I was just having this conversation today with a friend where I was saying that, the way that I approach certain things makes me, I run my life. That's what I do. I run my life. I run the blog. I run my groups. That's just how I live my life. I don't really depend on anyone else to do that for me. I know how to manage my life. The problem I have is when someone wants to come in and dictate without asking. That's, you don't get, if we're in a relationship, and this is how it should be, fam, is you don't dictate. We get to have a discussion, you get to make a request, and then I can decide as a free thinking adult, this works for me or it doesn't work for me, all right? So Kiki says, on a spin-off to her previous statement, girl, that was a while back and I'm just not getting to your comment. She says, I think people correlate trust and comfort with submission. They want someone to let them call the shots, but haven't built the foundation to that type of relationship. And that's a good point, Kiki, which is that sometimes, hey, Tony, sometimes when you are looking, what you really are saying, at least to me, is that you want, some people just automatically want, right, you to give them some sort of deference. And I just mean, when I say deference, I just mean you're really looking for someone to, I don't want to use the word bow down, but really somebody to basically just let you do whatever you want, right? And you get to do whatever you want to do because of either your presentation or because of what kind of financial support you bring to the relationship. That's not how that works. And for me, I don't care how much bills you pay, unless we have gotten to the point, hey Sharina, unless we've got to the point where we have built up and established that trust. And I get it. I get that for some folks, you know, yeah, I get for some folks that trust is always important when you're submitting, right? And it's funny to me because actually in a BDSM mindset, from the BDSM standpoint, the person who is submissive actually has all of the power because they get to say no, yes, or whatever. That's what people get to do in a submissive situation. But in any relationship, you get to earn, right? You have to earn that. You have to have shown me through your behavior, through your words, through your actions, that you deserve that. And for me, like I said, like Wendy said, submission goes both ways. And to me, I prefer not to use the word submissive. I prefer to use the word we are equal partners, and there are times when I'm going to have a strength, and that means I'm going to make the decision about something because I know more information about this thing, or that's my strength. And that's, kind of where I am. So let me pause for a minute all and remind you all that I am a love and dating coach, and I would absolutely love to have you to work with you. So I'm now offering coaching calls, and I'd love for you to go ahead and sign up for a session with me. I'll give you a link. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link here, and it'll give you access to my calendar. And when you go to my calendar, you'll pick a date that works for you, date and time that works for you. And after that, you'll be redirected to a page where you get to answer any questions, a few questions in a short form, so that I can get to know you a little bit better before we get on a call together. But this is really an opportunity for women who are mature, who are actually looking to have healthy, stable relationships. This is not for people who are just looking for a girlfriend. This is for somebody who's looking for a long-term, stable relationship. And so I'm sending you. I'm only accepting calls from people like this. So go ahead, fill out the form. Talk to me. If you have any questions before filling out the form, go ahead and message the page. Message me on my personal page. It's Samara Perry. I love to talk with you. These are some of the conversations that I help women have conversations around. Like, how do you have conversations about who you are? How do you actually unfold and show and share who you are with people? And how do you even determine if someone actually deserves your time and energy and your vulnerability? So hang on, let me go ahead and get back to some of these questions because there are some good comments over here. Sharina says, say it loud for the shorties in the back. Hey girl. So Wendy says, I'm strong and assertive as well. So let me just say this, because Wendy and I are both Jamaican. You can't tell us nothing, okay? You really can't tell Jamaican women anything, okay? There is just a certain kind of person that is going to have to be able to deal with a Jamaican woman, because we are generally very independent and strong, and we've had to be just based on our culture. And so if you're not going to come correct, don't even bother coming, right? So she says, she says, I'm strong and assertive as well and will submit on some instance, but it definitely cannot be requested or forced upon me. Yes, exactly. That's why I say, if you want someone to be submissive, I understand the concept that, when when you've treated someone in a particular way, then they feel like they trust you enough to open up and allow you to have certain say. Mm-hmm. Like, seriously, Peachy, I didn't know you were Jamaican too. What? So Robin says, I just had this conversation with a friend. I love women who are able to take charge as much as I can. It's about bringing out the best in each other and working together. And that's the part that I'm so confused about. Like, I know there are couples out there who love having their relationship the way that it is. There was a couple I interviewed on the blog a few years ago, and they love the heteronormative thing. One of them stays home, the other goes to work, and that works beautifully for them. But what I do know is that the woman who stays home is not a pushover. Her wife doesn't get to like dictate how they live their lives because, like I said, this woman is powerful. So just because someone, and I say just because someone may be at home or may work from home or may make less money or may be feminine, it
Don't
doesn't
get it
mean
twisted.
that she is a pushover. It doesn't mean that her wife gets to make unilaterally all the decisions. So if that's not what submission means, what does it mean to you all? Like, I'm really confused. To me, I just feel like the word that we should be saying is trust. When a woman is treated well and there's trust involved, you've earned her trust, then your relationship is better, period. That's what makes sense to me. Because if you have a relationship where there is no trust, yes, in the bedroom, and there's some people who the whole, hey Shawana, in the bedroom for some people, that's where that is expressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Wendy says to each his own, whatever works for you, absolutely.
Okay.
So what I get is that a lot of folks, oh man, I keep forgetting to share this out. Please do me a favor, y'all, tag some folks for me so that this conversation can be shared elsewhere. We can have more folks joining the conversation. I think the problem, like I said, yeah, Wendy says she just likes submission. I think the issue is here. Hey, Cherise, you always watch. I love when you watch from the bathtub, girl. How you doing? It's good to see you, my dear. Exactly, Wendy. It's about being emotionally safe, and you want that regardless. And so maybe for some people, it may show up in the bedroom as, okay, I trust this person. I'm doing something uncomfortable. I trust them enough to submit or trust that they have my best interest at heart. And I think the challenge is when you come at me like that, talking about you looking for someone to submit, it tells me so much about you because the words that we use are so important. If you use words like, again, if I heard somebody say, hey Nefertiria, what's up, girl? If someone came to me and said, babe, it's really important to me that we're both comfortable and happy, and we both feel respected and valued and seen in this relationship, that's a completely different conversation than I'm looking for somebody, to submit to me, because that to me is about power and control. And that's, like I said, depending on the context. If it's in a BDSM context, then I can get that. But if it's just in our everyday lives, it just concerns me. And I think it should concern you as well. Let me grab a couple more. I know I missed a couple. So Tiffany says, for me, I like other studs such as myself, but I want someone that's dominant like me. I don't want someone that's so submissive like a femme. She can be a soft stuff, but she got to have some dominance. Hey, Al. So she says, I don't even want to try dating a masculine-centered woman because I find my assertiveness to be incongruent with heteronormative expectations because I'm perceived as being femme and therefore assumed to be submissive. Kiki says a lot of masculine women do not like feeling female dogged by a femme woman because they define themselves by their masculine role. Interesting. So you feel like they would feel like they're I'm missing some of KJ's comments. I'm sorry, boo. Let me try to grab a couple of your comments because I missed that one. She says, oh, okay. He says some need that person, someone to bring it out in each other. It's not always a control thing, it's a respect thing. God, thank you for sharing that. Mimi says, I think submission definitely comes with comfort with your partner. It's not about gender roles or anything like that. It's part of being a mate in a team. People take submission as someone is weak, and that's not the case. Thanks for sharing that, Mimi. Again, like I said, I just don't understand what is the purpose of wanting that. I'm curious about why do women want to be submitted to by someone else? Why do they need that? I'm just curious. What is the need that's being fulfilled? So Pamela says not only the context, but the tone in which it is given is equally important, at least to me. KJ says, I spoil her so she caters to me if that's a form of submission. Yeah. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Angela. Let's see what other comments are here that I may have missed. Anaxer says, what happened when you try to give your all and then they tell you lies about everything? It means that perhaps you Um, Here's the thing. I'll say this and answer. Sometimes when someone shows you who they are, this is a blessing. I know it doesn't seem like it right now, but sometimes when someone lies to you or treats you badly, it's information. It's information for you to make a decision about. It's empowering. So it depends on how you look at it. If you give your all to someone and they treat you badly, that's information that you can take and make a decision from there. Um, so Tiffany says, I've always been the dominant one. The two studs I was with were less dominant than me. I had an ex, thought she could control me and she couldn't. It backfired on her, but she had all kinds of issues. So again, I'm confused about the control thing. Controlling does not mean, right, that this person control. And there's some people who are just controlling, right? Hey, Nicole,
Yes.
being controlling is also not necessarily a good thing. You know, there are some folks who, like I said, again, this is just to me another sign of someone who is insecure
Be careful.
because another adult needing to decide how another adult lives their lives makes no sense to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is a more to me. It's really more about some folks. Yes, KJ, really. But the whole idea of catering to and submission, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I know I'm the kind of person who treats my partner, really well. And so, and I expect that in return. So if I treat you really well, then you treat me really well. I I feel uncomfortable with the word cater because again, this is another one of those submissive conversation where it's like, and to me, it's another thing. It's about transaction. I think that's what makes me uncomfortable about these conversations too. It's very transactional. A lot of folks are looking to. I mean, I understand there's a give and a get in relationships, but a lot of folks they do things because they're looking to get a very specific thing in return. And if they don't get the thing in return that they want, then the relationship or the love is over. This is not love. If you have to behave a specific way in order to, and that's the issue I have with a lot of these women who want submission, is they require their partners to dress a certain way,
Mm-mm.
look a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
do a certain things, and if the
Mm-hmm.
person doesn't do those things, then it's a problem. And so that's my concern is that let's talk more about why submission, can be a concerning word if someone uses that, say they're looking for someone to be submissive. Again, this is somebody who's basically telling you that they're looking for a transactional kind of relationship. They need you to do XYZ. And if you're not willing to do XYZ, then the relationship is not going to have very much to stand on. Whereas if you have a relationship where you're standing both on trust and respect mutually, where there isn't one person um, who has to either, and the way I look at the submission thing too is a lot of times it appears to me like this person, when you're being submissive, one person has to dim their light or be something that they're not comfortable in to make someone else comfortable, to make their partner comfortable, right? And that's the concern I have. If being submissive means that I have to be or say or look or do something that's not me in order to make you comfortable, that's the problem. If it's like we're both respecting and treating each other well, and yes, there's some things that I know that my partner likes, so I'm going to do those things to please her, just like, we're both working on pleasing each other, but there isn't this expectation that I have to submit to you, like as I have to give up parts of myself or
Mm-hmm.
act a particular way or dress a certain way in order to please you. So Monique has a suggestion. She says, submission is not about your partner telling you what to do. It's about you and your partner submitting to a unified vision for the relationship. And that's a good point there, Monique. I could get with that. Again, to me, it's more about the words that we choose. Yes, a lot of times, if it's more about what this one person wants and not so much about what's best for both people, what's best for the relationship, then that doesn't work. Hey, Lisette. Let's see. KJ say we do it to satisfy each other. This is an unspoken agreement. A lot of agreements need to not be unspoken, KJ. I'm gonna tell you that. That's some of the problems we have, is that we have unspoken agreements, and people are having different ideas about what this unspoken agreement means. Okay. And Shawana says submission means different things to different people. Like I said, I get it for sure. For me, I want you all to think about, and actually ask each other, like, have conversation. When you say submission, what does that mean? I've had conversations with women about this. Okay, so what does that mean for you? Okay, so it just means you want to be sexually dominant in bed. Okay, cool. We can do that. Or it means that I need you to, like I said, I've had people try to tell me exactly how to dress, or what kind of hair to have, what kind of hairstyle to have. That don't work. Wendy says we should be more concerned with how to make each other feel most love, not controlling, or feeling above or beneath. Absolutely. And again, I like what Monique said, which is about what is your relationship about? Like, is that is if I know, right? And this is what happens after, once you gain that trust. If we know mutually that we both care about each other, and there's signs, right, that it's about the relationship. It's about what is, I believe, is best for both of us, and we're both having conversations like adults, is definitely completely different from someone trying to control. Let's see. LaShawn says submission means total trust. Why can't we just use the word trust? Audrey says, when looking at the definition of submission, it is an action or fact of accepting or yielding to superior force or the will or authority of another person. When you start from that point, the relationship has started on a toxic level, where there's a great deal of control in the relationship. Thank you so much for sharing that, Audrey. And that's basically all I wanted to say, y'all. That's basically what I wanted to say, y'all. But LaShawn says it's important for her and her wife. It's important for her wife to trust you. Absolutely. I think every relationship, it's important for both partners to trust each other. And like I said, I'm cool with the idea of submission as long as it is mutual submission. It's not just one person having to do that based off of some toxic shit. Like, it's based on me trying to control. There is a difference.
Be careful, guys.
You can be in a relationship where we both respect and trust each other, and it's not on some heteronormative stuff. It's not on some control stuff, and both people are in full agreement to the benefits of this kind of setup. You cannot. A lot of folks are in relationships, and I'm not judging anybody because I've been there. You're in relationships with people that you do not trust, right? And so, of course, that's not going to go anywhere fast. It's not going to be healthy. It's not going to be loving. It's not going to be long lasting if you don't trust each other. And so, for me to start from the standpoint of submission is bothersome. But if you start from the standpoint of like trust, we trust and support and respect each other. And how can we do things together? If we come at it from a team perspective, how can we together achieve X, Y, Z? Not so much like, you just gonna do what I say, because that don't work. That don't work. No. All right, ladies, thank you so much, and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining tonight, for having this conversation.
Okay, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed that. About being submissive and all that kind of stuff. That just that just ain't gonna work for me. Yes, I was married before. Even in that relationship, I was not no kind of submissive person. Now, for people just now knowing me, they think I'm a passive person. God, but I'm gonna tell you, once you get to know me, it's probably ain't gonna be no such thing. Like, once you get to know me, you be like, oh my God, you changed. Yeah. But whoever listened to this all the way to the end, guess what? You get to hear my little secret. Let me get some water. Yeah, my little secret. Oh my gosh. I have a crush. I have feelings. Oh, I have feelings for this woman. Mm, mm. And yes, she is older than me. And yes, she is in a relationship. But I gotta tell you about this woman. This is, I'm finding out some things about myself. First of all, I like a woman that's dominant. I like a strong black woman. Oh, funniest thing is, she can be feminine and have a masculine side to her. Mm, God, that turned me on. But let me stop that. We online. But I'm telling you, I have a crush on her. Um, but she's in a relationship, and you know what? We could never be. It won't be good. It won't be pretty because me, myself, and I'm starting to learn myself a little bit. I am so hard headed. If we ever have a long term relationship, we will be fighting verbally and physically. Now, I ain't no violent person. However, I do fight back. You put your hands on me. And as I know about this woman, mm, mm, mm. First of all, she don't take no shit from nobody. Ooh, I like that. Did I add she's dominant? She's take she's a take charge person. Ugh. Matter of fact, thank God she live in another state because if she was there close by me, God knows what's gonna happen. And, as I said before, she's in a relationship. I don't cross that boundary. I don't disrespect anybody's relationship, especially they in one. I just don't do that. I always respect. But you guys, I can't get over these feelings. Ugh, I can't get over these feelings I have for her. Mm, ugh, excuse me. Man, it's hard to explain. It was that one phone call, oh shit, that one conversation that we had that took me over the top and got me in my feelings. Oh yeah, she didn't have to do me. She didn't have to do me like that. Ooh, she didn't have to do me like that. It was kind of like a sex talk. Oh, ain't no woman. Oh, made me feel the way she did just by that sex conversation, that sex talk. Oh, we can never meet because if anybody is around, if we meet, they gonna see, they gonna wonder what the heck is going on. Yeah. So that was my big secret, guys. That's my secret, and I am trying to get over these feelings that I have for this woman. And plus, another thing, guys, this woman is crazy. Yes, she's crazy. And you know what? I like them crazy. Yes, I like them crazy. Yes, I like the wild side. She got two sides of her. She can be sweet one day, and she can tear your head off the next second. Yes. But oh, that turns me on. Okay, let me get off here. That turns me on. Oh, well, y'all be blessed. Be blessed.